Tenemos aquí con nosotros a Birdson, André Constantini y el maravilloso Borda. Antes, I think we should start with the video, right? What do you think, yeah? Antes de comenzar la conferencia de prensa, les vamos a mostrar un video de la obra que realizó Bell ayer después de la función, afuera del centro de convenciones en la calle. Así que son 2 minutitos. Vamos a bajar las luces. Oh, that was wonderful. How many people ¿cuánta gente de la que está acá ayer pudo ver la película de Bell, el documental? Bueno, los que no han podido ver, de verdad que se las recomiendo. Todavía tenemos un par de funciones más. Y fue una película, no sé si hablan en español o en inglés. Fue una, because do you understand Spanish? No, maybe I'll speak in English. Porque todos tienen traducción simultánea, tal vez hablo en inglés, ¿verdad? The screening yesterday was one of the most emotional that we've had here. It was, in convenciones, and it was completely full, and there were a lot of kids, and they were all very, very excited. And Bell told me at the end that after the birth of his child, he hadn't been as excited before, which moved me completely. And I want to ask Bell, this idea, because you've been working in Brazil for 35 years already in Bahia, So where else have you worked besides Bahia, besides now Cartagena? I know you were in New York. Have you worked in other cities in Brazil? And I mean, and what does that mean? How is that different? Like what, like this idea of working outside of your original place? I think in English.
English, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, somehow I've been concentrating my work this list for 38 years or almost 40 in Salvador. Of course, after this episode of those guys coming to my life with this documentary, has been really shaking my whole career and my life somehow. Well, there's a lot of changes. We are really starting going in this many different cities in the world direction. We've been in New York with Bert can speak better than me about this, but I'm quite sure we are just beginning. It's the action, art, movie, videos, and adventure and action in each town. And answering your question, I'm concentrated more in Salvador to really build a collection. And then we had this amazing, unforgettable experience in Manhattan, New York, and concentrate more in Manhattan. And now Cartagena and São Paulo in the beginning of this year. I think they can speak a little bit more about that.
This is what I think. I think when you finish your film, and usually we take a movie and go through festival, we're presenting as a movie. I think what happened throughout last year, there's a transformation took places, which is mean we love the ideas going to different cities, presenting the work where we have already done. But because in the beginning we've been given an opportunity for one particular festival in New York, and then they asked us to say, for example, can you continue making arts and recording it? And then so we took that opportunity. We tried it for 30 days in New York and making 30 films. And it was kind of crazy to begin with, and then you start developing and a new relationships with your colleague. So the transformation has become we going to present the works we have done, and then we're going to continue making new things. And I think that's very much in line with the spirit we encountered about maybe many years ago when we first started the project. This is really about agora, aquí, like here and now. So, so for us, it's really, really cool to be able to come here to say, yesterday we made a promise we're gonna make a film, and then we can present it this morning. We don't really know if we're gonna make it, but we always make it. So, each city you encounter slightly different problems. New York has New York's problem. I mean, 30 days is a lot. And São Paulo, we did 8 days. I think here we'll probably stay here for various engagement, maybe 6 days, but we're hoping to at least make 3 films. So I thought the most fun things right now about presenting the movie is just opportunity to make more movies. That's what I think. Yeah.
I think that we started making a movie and we've sort of turned it into a movement. And so we go from this idea that we record art and use art as a tool for inspiration, and then find new ways to be able to bring it to wherever we go.
I like this movement. Sounds very good.
Tenemos preguntas del público. Bel, why don't you tell us a little bit about, until it gets warm up in the room, why don't you tell us a little bit about how it all started? Like did you, when did you take the art from where I would imagine started in maybe a piece of paper to the streets?
When it started going in the street direction? Okay.
Yeah, your career.
Well, in Bahia, as unknown and young artists, it's very usually it's almost impossible to have any chance with galleries or the traditional ways of showing your work. And that's and somehow we have a particularity in Salvador. It's everything used to happen outside. Like we have a carnival, is a street dance show party. We have a nice weather like here, and you can, in open space, anything can happen. And we have a special, como las palanqueiras, like the palanqueiras, we have las baianas, or as baianas do Acarajé. They spell special African dishes in the corner with a really fancy, very, very exuberant dresses. And we have a capoeira, a special not street fight, but it's original from Africa. It was developed in Brazil. And we have many special aspects of our culture. They perfectly fits on the streets, in outsider spaces. And somehow I think it was a spontaneous conclusion that I could use the outside space as well, and I just started making things. But there's another detail. During the military dictator, I used to live downtown. It's an urban environment. And I used to see abaixo a ditadura, fora o imperialista, it's during this, they have the, how to say censura? Censura? How to say in English?
Censura?
Yeah.
Censorship.
Huh?
Censorship.
Okay, censorship. And censura. And I used to see, on my whole youth, I used to see all the time people only being able to say exactly what they needed on the wall. And they became, it was an obvious conclusion, we have a space, we have a weather, we have people writing their speech on the wall, and that was a straight conclusion. And most of people in Salvador, in 40 years ago, maybe a little bit less, used to come from not from the capital. And they usually, most of artists, they needed someone to belong to the, let's say, the society, to the bourgeois world, to have a chance for having an art collectioner, or even a chance to know someone who knows the museum director, who knows the galleries, whatever. And I thought it's as you as a young artist, as a known artist, it's amazing how people live the city, the streets to nowadays make really part of the people's world. We pass most of our time going up and down all around. And I saw on the streets a really excellent chance to see people's reaction with my work. I always worried about making sure I was sensible to something around where I was in the environment where I was putting my artwork. And nowadays, there's something curious, because I was somehow marginalized, marginalizado as an artist, because I was occupying and showing myself on the streets. And during 22 years, I was kind of boycottado in my city. But the people in the streets, the simple men on the streets, the taxi drivers, the waiters, the people who's present on the streets used to give me an attention, and somehow give the support for being for even some galleries or the most traditional ways of showing your work. They could not believe I didn't exist anymore. And somehow the base of the place where I am here, it's because I was recognized. The common people, o cidadão comum of the city. I feel very nowadays. Of course, I have clients, I have commission, but definitely the place where I am now was respaldado, was supported by the people, the simple people that go up and down on the streets in the city. I think I responded. Sorry for being so long.
But like I feel like if you would have gotten that chance, if you'd have ended up in the gallery space, your art would be so different. Like you need the street, no? Like you just I can't even envision it.
Oh my God, I didn't get it. Sorry, I was.
You're so lucky that you didn't go on the route of the gallery because
was
you know,
lucky.
your art wouldn't be what it is. But it's amazing. It's not just the scale and the subjects that you pick, but also the way you work so fast. It's kind of like you are this. You're built to do what you do.
Well, I'm very anxious, and I want to tell everything in the first date. I'm very anxious. I can't control my compulsion. It's kind of my personality. But I have some nice experience with a scenario, and sometimes you have to be really fast when you make a scenario for it. Somehow it was a great lesson how to you know, you work with big sizes and you have to react with the director of the theater play. I made a lot of scenarios even for comics, even for theater play. It was a great lesson as well.
I see. And yesterday you had to work fast because it was so hot.
Oh yeah, it was too hot. No, somehow it's the first time I work with so many people around, and somehow it was a little bit hard for me because the last time we done in São Paulo, we had only some skateboarder guys around, not so many. Somehow I lost the domain of the situation in the space for working, but of course I was happy there was there paying attention or this. I like when you make something that looks easy. I really like people. I think I love if people see me work and say, I can do that. For me, it's a very good feeling. You demystify the process of creating, even with simple semiotic, simple signs. And as I used to say frequently, creativity is not a prerogative of an artist. It's something ultimate for your life, for love, for living, for protecting yourself, for cooking, for everything in your life. It's not only for art professional or for designers, whatever.
Is that why yesterday you moved from the plaza to the street because there were too many people in the plaza?
Well, because since we've been around making, as Bert said before, we react a lot and we discuss about nowadays. What you make now, it's something after. They just following me in front of the camera. Somehow before that, we went to the place where they were going to record and we discussed the best position. We discuss nowadays. We discuss a lot of things before. It's a new moment. For me, it's very welcome because all of them are artists as well as a photographer, musician, visual art. Somehow they have competencia for this.
It's a collaboration now. You're not alone.
Yes. And now we discuss and we think the best way. And it's an integrate result.
Nice. And Bert and Andre, are you working there?
I'm
kidding.
No, I'm not.
Are you writing? Are you sending a letter to your mama?
Workaholic, but not so much.
I was trying to find some, see if I have photograph on this computer of what he's talking about on the street.
Oh. Okay. I was joking. So maybe when you do that, Andre, can you talk? Well, we'd like to know how you ended up together. How did you meet and why, and how did that happen?
I think I can tell this story a bit better, don't you think? And then let me know. Then we'll move to you. I've been working as some sort of consultant and producer capacity for many years. Mostly it's involved with art in the museum, opera, theater, and various projects. I do project-based works. And then sometimes I get involved with this. I would like to think I'm an artist too. But you always met people are much better than you. So many years ago, according to Andre told me yesterday, it's almost 18 years ago. We don't look that old, but this reality of it. I was producing a really crazy project in New York with a French photographer called Frederick Brenner. And then at the time, and basically, the scenario is this: French guys coming to New York City want to photograph 40 Jewish American icons, which I think is just absurd. Which, if I drop in name like from Barbara Streisand to Henry Kissinger and Steven Spielberg and Dustin Hoffman, and all put together to take a photo, just taking a photo, and I thought it was crazy. So I decided to do it because I think it's impossible. So throughout the time, and we tried to find help. So I met Andre at the time, and in the one of the most difficult tasks is how to photograph all those people together. And then we met probably at the time. At the time, Andre looked a little bit different than what he's looking right now, because I remember my first day, he showed up, he said, well, I'm your guys, I'm managing all the camera works. Oops. Mm-hmm. And then I thought he was a 13-year-old boy, and then because, you know, after that, we go through a long period of time, sort of working together in different capacities. Our problem is this, is because we feel like by the end, we always are those people behind the success of others. And we work very, very hard to make other people look good. So we always kind of have this nagging feeling. So one day we want to make something, it's our project rather than other people's project. You're being hired as a producer or, you know, support or cinema photographer or photographer to executing other people's ideas. We want to have our own ideas. So in the same time, still, we kind of feel a little bit insecure about, well, what are we gonna do? And then, so then came about probably, that was when, no, we was talking about what we're gonna do, but we still want to do collaboration with art and artists. And then, yeah, you take it over from that point.
So, Bert and I have known each other for about 18 years, as he said, and we've worked together in different capacities on different projects, doing, you know, different things, and usually, as he said, you know, with artists or very, you know, very talented people. And about 5 years ago, me and Bert met for lunch, and I said to him, Bert, you know, I really want to make a film about an artist. And a year later, the phone rang, and Bert said, I found him. And I said, what are you talking about? Because it was a year later. He said, you want to make a film about an artist, correct? I said, yes. He goes, I found him. He's in Brazil. So Bert was living in Salvador at the time and saw Belle's work around the city, and you can't miss it. And he said, I absolutely have to meet this man. So Bert met Belle. Then Bert called me, and then I flew to Brazil, and the second day that I met Belle, we started filming.
No, the first day.
The very first day.
No, I mean, literally, actually, the night before he gets on the airplane, because we're working together for a very long time. And then, so originally, I just tried to be nice. He's my friend, you know. It was like, then Belle called me the night before he arrived. I said, oh, Belle, there's a potential collaborator, we can do this. And then, so Belle said, well, I'm making something tomorrow. I was like, oh, really? And then on the street, we said, oh, yeah, it would be great. And then I was like, oh, let me call Andre. I said, Andre, you know, I was asking you to come to Brazil, just take a look. And, but, you know, Belle, it's a, he said, all packed. Camera, everything's packed. I was like, yes. And then, so we actually, it's really funny because Belle was a little bit late and to meet with Andre. So Belle, very nice. He sent a taxi driver, which is his friend, to pick up Andre in the airport. And then the taxi driver kind of know what it's all about because there's a potential. So the taxi driver took the liberty, take a sort of a scenic route of Salvador before, you know, I mean, Belle said, well, I need 45 minutes. So taxi driver basically just drive around town. So by the time, I think when he get off taxi, it's done. And so, you know, I think we start filming right away. that afternoon, right? Yeah. And then we spent 3 years doing that together. And then it kind of just very spontaneous that these things happen. Yeah.
I want to know, ¿hay alguien que tenga preguntas en la audiencia? Ya sé que no mucha gente, ya te lo paso, ya sé que no mucha gente no ha visto la película, pero les quiero recordar que hoy a la 1 de la tarde en Cine Colombia se está mostrando para que no se la vayan a perder. Igual hoy Bel también va a estar trabajando, va a hacer una intervención en el barrio Getsemaní, ya les voy a dar la dirección exacta. Sí.
Bueno, primeramente yo soy de Argentina, el canal el de la ciudad, y primero quería felicitar a Mónica y a los organizadores por haberte traído, porque creo que es unas cosas importantísimas de este festival, Mónica, realmente. No es nada extraño que tú hagas este arte siendo de Salvador, donde nos ha regalado al mundo una figura como Jorge Amado, que su obra permanentemente estaba mezclada con su pueblo, realmente. La pregunta que te quiero hacer es, las experiencias que has hecho en Brasil, ¿cómo fue ese encuentro permanente con la gente?
La experiencia que ha hecho, ¿cómo es la pregunta?
¿Cómo ha sido ese encuentro y esa fusión de tu arte con la gente? Es decir, los encuentros que has tenido
con la gente.
Con la gente.
Con el público.
Bom, eu nasci, I was born in Salvador, right? And there is something, somehow, now, even nowadays, if you look around, is she talking about, no, Jorge Amado?
He said, he's not surprised.
Is your private thing you meet with Jorge Amado?
No, it was like an introduction. He's going to the question. He just.
Okay, just for a minute.
The question is about this interaction with the people.
Okay. Well, in Salvador, people is friendly like here, like in Los Cartageneros are very nice, really nice and attentions. And somehow we have people in Salvador, we are very similar around there. We are very tactile and affável. My own personality, I think it's make feel maybe the people, the usual people, feel I'm close to them, because most of the time the artists are a little bit distant from people, right? But the way I am, the way we are here in Salvador, sometimes once one lady said, "But Borda, when I see one of your work on the wall, I think you are on the wall looking to us." And this, since I started making this, I think somehow I helped people have the feeling of cidadania, this citizenship, the feeling of the citizenship feeling, because most of people, some places just made our artwork, and suddenly the administration of the city started to clean a little more, and people say, "Oh, Bill, thank you for making that. Thank you for trying to make it the city more beautiful," even if this kind of feeling is not what any contemporary art loves to listen, that making beautiful like decoration. But for me, once I felt this link to people, because I don't feel myself an erudito. I don't feel myself as an erudito, an intellectual. I'm just feeling myself as a man who decided to communicate honestly to people. I just project what I feel, what things around inspires me. And I think the people feels it. They really know they can touch me, and they can touch me, and they can feel my skin and my temperature. I think this somehow the city and people in city, they inspires me, and I'm quite sure it's la recíproca es verdadera. I'm not sure if I answered the question.
Can I just add a little bit more? I think, I think Bell's ability is, as an individual, it's not just for Salvador. because it's been proven to me how he engaged with community in New York. And usually it's not in the most fancy neighborhood, with, Chelsea Gallery World. He went to Queens, Brooklyn, and then in literally less than a week of time, and he built his community, and then people feel like his long-lost cousin or uncle just returned. And something happened in São Paulo. There's something about that individualities that is really, really charming and attractive for him to express himself.
Thank you, Bert.
Sí, por ahí está el micrófono.
Sí. El artista urbano, el muralista, llega a integrarse con la sociedad y con la comunidad de una manera que a veces pareciera como si el artista se transparenta en la ciudad y la ciudad en el artista. ¿Cómo sientes tú, Salvador de Bahía, y cómo Salvador de Bahía te siente a ti?
¿Cómo siento? Well, I really, you can see this in the documentary. Somehow I feel we belong to each other because I feel myself a typical man from Salvador. I really know how the simple people, how they think, how they taste. And I think this, as much short as my relationship with people, I don't understand too much about, I'm not an art specialist. I'm not, but I have to, modestia aparte, I know about people. This I can, when out of modestia aparte, you posted, I can tell you, I really feel people under my skin. It was supposed to be the first original name, and and from the film before Biba Warbaki. Did I answer that?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm from the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston, Texas, and I wondered if you could talk about the distribution of the film in the U.S. and internationally, and I just want to thank you all for being here. We're so fortunate to have you here with the film and Belle.
I think the film is being distributed by Richard Abamowitz, and so we don't deal too much about business. But I think Richard's being really great because he's trying to push the film rather in like a multi-complex movie theater. He would choose carefully. Showing the film in museum, in the museum theaters or art centers or art institutes. I think from January we were showing at least 1 week or 10 days in Boston Museum of Fine Art, and last year was in Detroit Art Institute and the Oklahoma City Modern Art Museum. So I think the approach to this film, it's we only can tell, the business aspect, our distributor, what we would really like. And then Belle is very adamant about education. And then we thought it would be wonderful for kids or people just seeing it. And then originally, I think we thought, it should be an art lover movie, for our students. But yesterday is another proof to me. When kids start screaming after the movie with the joyful scream, and it moved me so profoundly. So, I think Katina here, what it did is just unbelievable. It's not just thrill me to have people like my movie. It's really about understand audiences and then deliver a film maybe they will feel for it and to be able to see it. And then it's our greatest hope. And the film's still going through, rest of the country. So, usually, they just call us, say, well, send the film to here. That's what we do. And business aside, we don't deal with it. We don't understand anyway.
So maybe it's going to end up in Houston.
Oh, buenos días. Yo soy profesor en una escuela de artes y ayer los estudiantes vinieron por primera vez a un festival de cine porque se supone que no les hablan de cine, o sea, para que comprendan que estas cosas están relacionadas. Y además de eso, he estado 2 veces en Salvador y he visto su obra. Para mí fue impresionante ayer poder ver no solo la reacción del público, sino la comprensión de la idea de arte que ha cambiado mucho y que no tiene nada que ver con un sistema elitista, etc. Yo quisiera expresarle mi gratitud porque me parece que en sus palabras... Estoy alargando, quería ser breve. Quisiera expresarle como profesor de arte, pero es que soy profesor de cine, no de artes, y siempre me toca excusarme. No soy artista, soy profesor de... expresarle mi gratitud por sus palabras ayer en ese documental, específicamente una frase que dijo: en el arte no tengo madre ni padre, soy un bastardo. Después estaban 5 o 6 estudiantes, me acerqué a ellos y una vez más les expresé que este viaje que habían hecho era parte de la idea de romper un poco ya esos conceptos. Y nosotros vivimos en una ciudad que queda a 1:30 de Cartagena, que se llama Barranquilla. Y Barranquilla es más famosa por su carnaval que digamos, otras cosas por las que es famosa Cartagena. Y ambas ciudades, a decir verdad, no son diferentes, son muy cercanas. Y hay un barrio en Barranquilla que se llama Barrio Abajo. Y en ese barrio hay mucha similitud con Salvador, porque vive mucha gente mestiza y afro. Y yo quisiera extenderle, soy muy atrevido, usted está como invitado en un festival, quisiera extenderle, con mis respetos al Festival de Cine, una invitación a que pudiera ir a Barranquilla, no solo a conocer la cultura popular, sino a conocer su escuela de artes. Entonces, pues, no sé si después podemos conversar.
Thank you, thank you. Welcome.
So are we invited to? Can we come too?
Muchas gracias.
What he said at the beginning.
Oh, really? Oh, you're responsible as well.
And that they had never been to Conferencia before, because he was the person that they had the convention.
Oh, great. Well, for me, yesterday I could not be. I could not stay in the field because I was really muy emocionado por mirar todos los niños, todos los señores y señoras, con Mónica Aguito, que la primera vez, tal vez, la primera vez ha mirado una película, una casa como aquella. Muchas gracias por la invitación. Estoy contento que puedo repasar para mis colegas la invitación. Y mi mujer que estaba también.
Bueno, tenemos tiempo para una pregunta más, por favor. Una última pregunta.
Quería preguntar si el trabajo de ustedes como equipo finalizó con este documental o están haciendo otro. You work together, it finished
I know.
with this movie that some people saw
Sorry.
yesterday, or are you making another documentary or something?
I think it's kind of like this. We individually still doing our own project. We don't necessarily stick together all the time. But I think what's happening right now is like for coming to Cartagena is one of the good example. We continue making movies together, or let's say we continue express ourselves, making art through cinematic language together. And so the plan is actually making, going to different cities, making short film and then engage with the local communities. And then so each of us took our strength. And I mean, I think the journey is yes, but are we making Borda the sequel, another long movie? No. But I think the idea is we're going to take this concept of the words Borda plus Aki together. And so, for example, Gil Macedo is in an audience. I mean, he joined us when Andre is not available in physical presence. For example, in São Paulo, it's me and Gil and Bell, and Andre is in New York on the internet and doing the post-production, the music parts of things. So I think eventually the idea is expanding the ideas of having groups of artists in any capacities and inspired by Bell. And there are sometimes we are also creating art inspired by Bell because sometimes Bell is sick, he's not available, he disappeared. We still can make new things together. And so I think in that way, yes, we keep making new things, but I think we're gonna make many, many short movies.
Okay, thank you. So hopefully we'll see you back again in Cartagena.
Sure.
When you have some new work, we'll stay in touch.
Okay.
Thanks so much for coming. It's been, I mean, es muy importante que recordarles que hoy it's at 2:30, right? A las 2:30.
What time is
That
the
you're
show?
gonna work in Getsemani.
Oh, yeah, Getsemani?
In Getsemani.
What time starts?
That's what I heard, that it's at 2:30.
What time?
At 2:30. Yeah, that's what I just got here. A las 2:30 en Getsemani pueden ver a Abel trabajando. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you're going to do today at 2:30?
Well, I think that special street in Getsemani.
Ya, les digo, la calle se llama Calle de la Sierpe, que es la calle de la Plaza de la Trinidad en Getsemaní. Calle de la Sierpe.
Well, I think this street, not far away from now, is going to be one of the million things you have to visit in Cartagena. Because I hope somehow our action now in this street, I have tiles, painted tiles. Okay, I painted a tile with a porcelain paint and put it on the kiln. And this is a permanent technique. And we are going to make I printed some photos in the tiles to mix this with to make a mosaic with these pieces, and another piece is not printed. Somehow I'm going to try to represent each one of those people who's going to help us in their own family, because I have things you can have it. Okay, I represent their family, the way their universe as a cell. Cell. Okay, la célula. I hope that this street, once the other artists start make use technique that takes longer, that survive longer, more than the usual painting, in few months or in few years, we'll complete a whole permanent art collection on this street. I think it would be very nice, the chance of having there a permanent art open air gallery in this calle.
So I'm sorry, if I may. One of the concepts that we discussed for this piece is that all of the people that are actually helping on the piece will get to choose tiles to represent their own family. And so there's a collaboration with not only Belle and the city or Belle and me and Bert, but with the people from here that are making it that are going to have their own input that will become permanent.
My interpretation is the same thing. I'd like to speak a little bit more in a very human term. I think the uncle come back, and the uncle bring a gift. So Belle made a gift for the city. And then we're going to a neighborhood, we're gonna throw a party together and celebrate. And so you're gonna see Belle's gift from Salvador to Cartagena. And then we make an additional ingredient so we can make a cocktail, food, something in our making process with the neighbors we're gonna engage with this afternoon.
Great. So not only they gave us this beautiful film, your beautiful art is also going to remain here in Cartagena forever. Thank you very, very, very much for being here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Gracias, Cartagena.
Oh, that was wonderful. How many people that are, ¿cuánta gente de la que está acá ayer pudo ver la película de Belle, el documental? Bueno, los que no han podido ver, de verdad que se los recomiendo, todavía tenemos un par de funciones más. Y fue una película, no sé si habla en español o en inglés, fue una, because do you understand Spanish? No, maybe I'll speak in English. Porque todos tienen traducción simultánea, tal vez hablo en inglés, ¿verdad? Tenemos aquí con nosotros a Bert Son, André Constantini y el maravilloso Bel Borda. Antes, I think we should start with the video, right? What do you think, yeah? Antes de comenzar la conferencia de prensa, les vamos a mostrar un video de la obra que realizó Bel ayer después de la función, afuera del centro de convenciones en la calle. Así que son 2 minutitos. Vamos a bajar las luces. The screening yesterday was one of the most emotional that we've had here. It was, in convenciones, and it was completely full, and there were a lot of kids, and they were all very, very excited. And Bel told me at the end that after the birth of his child, he hadn't been as excited before, which moved me completely. And I want to ask Bel, this idea, because you've been working in Brazil for 35 years already in Bahia. So where else have you worked besides Bahia, besides now Cartagena? I know you were in New York. Have you worked in other cities in Brazil? And I mean, what does that mean? How is that different? Like this idea of working outside of your original place? I think in English.
English, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, somehow I've been concentrating my work this list for 38 years or almost 40 in Salvador. Of course, after